pick in the 2010 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Trent Silverback Williams, offensive tackle, Oklahoma.
Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of the Football Corner. This show will be dedicated to giving you all the up-to-date news you need for preseason highlights, team predictions, recent rumors, weekly recaps, and so much more. And without further ado, what better way to start off a show than talking about the most important position in football, the left tackle. Many may not realize this, but without a good left tackle, a great one at that, your quarterback's going to take way too many unnecessary hits to his blind side. So when an outstanding all-pro left tackle becomes available, you're going to want to try and scoop him up. So this leads us to the topic of our first episode, Trent Williams. Williams is a all-pro left tackle from the Washington Redskins, and he's basically told them that there's no way he's taking another snap from them. And most of the time, people assume this is due to contract disputes, recent situations like Le'Veon Bell and Michael Thomas, to give you a few examples. But this is far from a contract dispute. This is his issues with the training staff. In short, Williams had a growth on his head that he deemed was important, and he wanted to know what was going on, and the training staff was very lazy about it and kind of pushed to the side. So he went, got it figured out. Wasn't anything major, but he was very upset about the situation, how they didn't take him very seriously at all. This leads us to the situation we're in now, where Williams has basically demanded a trade. The Redskins say they aren't going to trade him, but you're going to want to try and get the most you can back from a player like that. Since it's almost a lock that he is eventually moved, I've come up with the two best trade destinations and landing spots for Trent Williams. There are three different things that helped me narrow down my choices. One was team need, two is season outlook, and three were draft picks available. So while there are teams that do have worse left tackles, these teams need Trent Williams the most to make a nice playoff push this year. The first team we're going to talk about are the Cleveland Browns. The Browns have made obvious improvements in practically every position since 2017, but the biggest thing holding them back this year will be the offensive line. Right now, the tackle positions are manned by Greg Robinson and Chris Hubbard, two not-so-incredible players. Greg Robinson is known as a massive bust for the Rams, but has rejuvenated his career a bit in Cleveland, putting together a decent 2018 season. However, a player of Trent Williams' caliber on a young Browns team would be incredible for their growth. Williams is coming off of his worst year since 2010, but that year was still better than Greg Robinson's best year in the league. Pro Football Focus rated Williams' season at a 74 grade, while Robinson's was just a 59.6. All Browns fans should enjoy the idea of this trade, as you don't have to give up a second or third round pick to get an all-pro left tackle for at least the next 2 years. The second team on my list is the Houston Texans. The Texans are a team looking for help on the O-line. Titus Howard was their first round draft pick and has looked okay for them in camp, but has mainly played guard with Matt Khalil at a tackle, who will be underwhelming at best. The Texans line was one of the worst in the league last year in almost every major statistic. Deshaun Watson can only run so much before he's going back on the injured list, and that's something no Texan fan wants to see. They've been lacking on the left side of the line ever since the departure of Dwayne Brown, and Williams would fill that gap perfectly. If Watson can make plays with the line he has currently, then just imagine putting him behind a somewhat capable one. Trent Williams is only a small step to repairing that mess, but I would rather see the Texans pull the trigger on this one over letting some other team swoop in and take it away from them. Both of these teams are only a few steps away from becoming a dominant force in the AFC, and this move will only help show their fan bases how serious they are about becoming great. So there you have it, my take on the best two fits for Trent Williams. Let me know your take on this situation down in the comments. Who's in the wrong, and what should the Redskins ultimately do with their franchise tackle? Also, I'd love to get your feedback on my first ever video, and if you enjoyed, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe and help me continue on with this channel to make it the best it can be.